Okay, driving home review again then, here we go.
What's one of them?
Well, they're about to find out again. Sorry, we start one and then the radio came on, which we can't have licensed music, so I had to stop the start. And then you have to deal with people pulling into a car park. So yes, these are reviews where you can't see us very clearly because we are literally driving home from the cinema. We could do them with the light on, but I'm fairly certain driving along with that one's actually illegal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is as well, thinking about it. It'll probably be fine once we get out of the dark bit and we get the street lights.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. So, are we doing this with or without spoilers?
Well, I don't know, because it's been so long.
Well,
we largely did them without spoilers, didn't we?
I think we did, kinda, yeah. Or we did for sort of big releases like your Avengers is.
True.
But I wasn't actually asking, is that how we did them? What I was asking you is, how are we doing this one?
Well, yeah, that's what I was wondering, because of the fact that how we always did them seemed to be generally spoiler free. So did we want to continue that, given this isn't a... Because it's Cruella, you know, if you don't know...
Yeah, how much of a spoiler can there be? Hey, she's going to try and kidnap Dalmatians, but not in this movie.
I think, to be fair, given the fact that all of our at-home reviews are generally spoiler-tastic,
yeah,
I think we just lean into that now and just go, like, basically, if you're going to be watching this and you haven't seen the movie and you care about spoilers, stop watching now, basically.
Yeah, because we might slip up. Yes. So, yeah, we're now under those streetlights you mentioned. It's not really got any lighter. But then I think that's my whole comment that I've made recently about how since they've switched all the streetlights to those kind of weird LED type things, I don't think they give up as much light as they used to. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah. So it's really dark.
Wow.
Like really dark. And we are on a reasonably well lit road. But this is my problem. They don't give out pools of
illumination.
No, they do. The light is in pools. It's not like a floodlight. It's not a spread of light anymore. Oh, hello. And there's a policeman who says, "Bless you, thank you, darling. Yes, we'll go this way."
Because we have no other choice.
Yeah. Okay, so we're now going off for a drive through Newport, so the light might get slightly better. So anyway, should we talk about the film?
Yes. Drama. You can tell someone's a bit hyper about his first visit back to the cinema for a long time.
The thing is, I was genuinely excited about being in the cinema. Just like even things like the trailers, I was sitting there like going, like excited, like little.
He really was. I'm sat here nodding away, and you can't actually see me doing that.
No, you can't see. No, keep it vocal.
Elf?
Daughter. Trying to crash into a car coming ahead of us because that bike was rubbish in our way. Yeah, it was. So it was lovely to just be back, and you kind of got a sense that, I mean, it wasn't like loads of people in there. There were a lot of people in the cinema, but not loads of people in Cruella. Which seemed to be, the car park was rammed, but everyone must have gone to The Conjuring. But I don't know. There was what? Maybe 20 people in our showing?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously the other thing as well is that, Cineworld is still doing things like, the staggered showings to try and reduce the footfall in the foyer bit. But there were still, when we walked in, there were still quite a few people queuing up. Because, we had to wait for like forever before we got to the counter. So, that's back to normal again. So, thanks.
And there was, the seating, they won't allow you to sit too close together. That's all enforced social distancing,
which is like heaven.
I know a way that way, but I'm going to just experiment this way. Already regretting it. I'm looking up there and going, oh, this does not look familiar at all to me. Figure it out. So the whole experience of being back at the cinema was exciting and awesome.
And I have to say, for me, it's just nice to get out of the house for something that isn't a shopping trip.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad for me. I've been more or less out working since August. In fact, I have pretty much worked since August, because that's when I started doing the caring. I went from that straight into my job up route, and I've either been in the office or out in the vans ever since. So yes, so it's the general cinema experience gets a massive thumbs up from me, and just thrilled to be back. So then we move on to Cruella itself, which is just deliciously camp. It kind of plays with convention a little bit. Again, it's as Paul alluded to at the start, is there's only so much they can do because you've got the. But where I'm trying to think of, there's been other occasions. Where the fuck am I? What's this road? Where are we?
Newport.
I think we're in Pill.
Are we?
Jesus, I think we're in Pill.
What does that mean?
It's somewhere we don't want to be. It's like the roughest bit of Newport.
Oh, is it like the Moss side of Cardiff?
Yeah.
Area?
Well, Newport, but yeah.
It's not like, as in like Greater Manchester is like Manchester and surrounding.
There's nowhere as rough in Cardiff as Pill is in Newport. Actually, it's not that bad. That's the other thing. It's got a bit of a rep.
Is this like what everyone thinks Brixton is like?
Yeah, and it really kind of isn't. But I think I can probably. I'm either going to end up back to another shut road and police and waving us off somewhere, or I'll get back on the road I actually intended us to be on.
This is exciting.
A horrible feeling. I'm just going back parallel to the road we were on. It might not work at all. Yes. So camp as a row of pink tents, and just Emma Thompson in particular beautifully plays it. Over the top isn't the right description. She is, but she's not.
Because her actual performance is very understated.
Yes, but it's pure panto.
Yeah.
And ridiculous and just awesome. I've got to admit, as much as I've never seen Emma Stone in anything I didn't love her in, right? And I did love her in Cruella as Cruella. Emma Thompson stole it for me.
Yeah.
Completely steals the show. But what I thought was great was I don't know if it's an acting choice or it's just fallen that way or a directing choice, but you've kind of got, to me, Emma Thompson playing more like Glenn Close. And given, right, first enormous spoiler, that is only a revelation about 2/3 of the way through the film, but ahead only. I want to go up there. I want to go up there. Why can't I go up there? That's where I need to go. So I've got to like turn round up here and go back. This is shit. Okay, I'm just going to swing like a U-turn. Fuck 'em. And then probably find I can't turn again. Can't do the turn there either. So she turns out she is Cruella's mother.
Yes.
Can I turn up here? I'm going up here. I'm really confused myself. I think I went back on the road I wanted now.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's the bridge. Here we go. This is exactly where I want to be. The Kylie Bridge. So,
where's the new traffic?
Because the road's shut behind it, they can't get round it. And they've all probably gone some big ass long diversion rather than doing what I've just done.
Or we're about to hit some like major obstruction down here and be stopped.
And the road when we're like, well, what are you going up there for? There is nothing up there.
There's double bridge.
Yeah, I'll just be like, oh. In the Usk it is then.
Oh no, it's okay. There's a car coming the other way, so I think we're safe.
Yeah, I saw the lights over there. I was like, oh no, really, genuinely, if we fuck this up.
Yeah, pretty much what I was thinking when I saw them as well, but we seem to be okay.
Yeah.
Good news, people, we are back on track to get home.
It's very confusing though. Little diversion around Newport, there was nothing to do with Cruella whatsoever. And I think
So the big spoiler is about 2/3 of the way through.
I said.
Did you?
She's a mother, yeah.
I missed that.
I said that just before we turned the lights.
I got caught up in the drama
of the traffic lights.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. So she pitches young Cruella, I think, beautifully, but you've kind of got this mother figure who she is quite clearly going to grow into, but a much more demonised. Because the other thing is whereas the Cruella we know is outwardly cool and calm and collected, you know, we know her as the frantic when she loses her shit, like when she's driving the car in 101 Dalmatians and all this kind of stuff. So I think there's this perfect sort of blend of the Cruella we know she grows up to be in Glenn Close, slash the cartoon, because it doesn't necessarily align itself to one or the other particularly, especially as, you know, again, products of their time, but quite whitewashed cast that they've diversified for, like Roger and Anita.
Yeah.
So you get a bit more of a Roger and Anita's backgrounds as well. Her name genuinely is Anita Darling. It's not just an affectation. And there's a lovely little mid-credit scene worth hanging out for. I got a bit sort of like taken aback when I realised that a lot of I knew some of it had been used for some of it, but I didn't realise quite how much of Hell Hall is actually Nebworth House, just outside Stevenage. Because the really bizarre thing is I met my best friend Mark within the grounds of Nebworth House 25 years ago next month, and the first big obsession we had in 1996 was 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close. So it's all this big sort of like weird full circle kind of thing for me personally, going, oh, okay, this is quite bizarre. Yeah, it's fun. I think that's what I was going on to before I realised we were in the middle of Hill. So basically, I've seen. I'm trying to think. There's been other prequels that feel a bit forced. Right, Solo. This is a prime example where they just feel the need to absolutely pack it with sort of backward-forward references. Like every last thing Harrison Ford does in the original trilogy now has an explanation in Solo. Every line, every joke, every reference, every eyebrow movement, you know, it's all there. It wasn't good enough that he refers to the Falcon as a she because it's a naval thing that you refer to ships as a she, and, you know, talk to your car and develop a relationship. No. They've had to physically explain that. Oh no, it's because it was once a droid and now the droid's merged into the. Do you know what I mean? They over-explained everything to the point where you're like, oh god, just show me a story here, will you? Show me a story here rather than constantly going, look, because this means that in the future. You know, wink, wink. And I think a lot of these style of prequels fall into that, where you, like one or two nods, you go, oh yeah, that's cool. And then about halfway through the film after, you're like, can you go 30 seconds without a reference, please? Can you just fuck? And Cruella balances that right for me. That's something they do brilliantly well. There's enough of the nods. For example, I don't know if I want to say, because although we're doing spoilers, I don't know if I want to give this one away, because it was one I didn't cotton on to. There was a big penny drop moment for me of, oh, that's so-and-so. Oh, fucking hell, of course it is. I turned to you and went, oh, of course, blah, 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 and dropped the name. But up to that point, I hadn't realised that person was going to turn into that character that I knew from other films.
I don't remember who you said now.
Well, I'll tell you when we take the video off.
Okay.
So, but because I didn't, you know, that person had been in many scenes before I realised exactly who they were in the wider Cruella-verse. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a good thing. I didn't roll my eyes and go, oh yeah, because of course that's so-and-so. Right, okay, to give you an example, if I hadn't clocked, because they show Anita, because that's right, Anita is an old school friend of hers, so in the first 15 minutes when it's Cruella as a little girl, you see her at school with Anita Darling, which actually is they could really nicely tie that into Peter Pan, because of course Wendy was Wendy Darling.
Yes.
Wendy Moira Angela Darling. So, you know, you've got nice little tie-ins you could make there, universe-wide building and in, you know, within Disney stuff. But it would be like, had I not realised that Anita was the Anita.
Right.
Or not realised, yeah, exactly that, I guess. And then when she grew up, going, oh god, actually, no, of course, Anita who has Anita and Perdita. It's a noisy car. Don't know how dark the motorway will be. It could be interesting. But there was loads of little touches like that. I say Emma Thompson is just divine. I can't even remember all the amazing little things I loved so much, but I know the pair of us were just laughing out loud for about her first 3 scenes constantly.
Yes. I mean, I think that you even leaned over, I think within about probably 5 to 10 seconds of her first proper appearance, and it's basically The Devil Wears Dalmatians, is how you phrased it.
Yes.
Because she is a more psychotic Miranda Priestley. Is it Miranda Priestley?
Yes, yeah. But you've even then got the relationship because Emma Stone as the Cruella character is very much the Anne Hathaway protege coming through. So yes, I would say probably there's a good... If you take away sort of an introduction, which is Cruella as a child, once she's an adult, you talk it through in standard film terms, 3 acts. Act 1 is very much The Devil Wears Dalmatian. And then Act 2 is all the revelations, and then Act 3 is Cruella's Revenge. But the design, the look, I was quite impressed. There were a few times I tried to catch them out, because there's obviously, it's set in 60s and 70s London. The music cues, by the way.
That's the thing I wanted to actually say is, regardless of anything else, the music in this film is amazing.
The list of songs at the end was immense. I was thinking, I need to piss.
I have genuinely... I would struggle to think of a movie off my head.
I'm going to stick our light on for a bit, because there aren't even street lights in this bit.
Where I have genuinely... I think I would struggle to think of another film where I have loved the music they use. Because a lot of it is obviously contemporary for the time, the music, but obviously with its own spin on it. So you've got a lot of like 60s and 70s classics. You've got a bit of, I think Motown was in there at one point.
Yeah.
They did The Stooges, which is like one of my favourite songs of all time, and obviously I'm doing modern production values. But even some of just like the incidental, like more orchestral pieces, because there's a bit towards like the final scene at the end, where you've got the orchestra there, where I was like thinking, I recognise the tune, but I can't place it. But oh my god, such good music. So I was genuinely tapping my feet and singing along to a lot of the songs at various points. I don't do that when I'm watching movies as a rule.
Yeah. Fuck knows what I was going to say though, because I've forgotten now. So yeah, so I was trying to catch them out because I was trying to work out. They've done a lot of location filming. Say, there's a lot of Nebworth House, but there's also a lot of London, and it's very clear, like around Liberty. So they're like smack in central London. They must have, judging by the light, I think they shot an awful lot of stuff in the summer at like 5-6 in the morning, and presumably I don't know when this film was filmed. But I'm assuming it was probably during lockdown last year. They probably had like measures in place or whatever, and I would guess they kind of did it that way. But I was looking in the background saying at any point there's like a modern car go past, and they didn't. They had some classic old Cortinas and taxis and stuff like that. So just the look and the feel. I mean, I'm quite honest in the fact that as much as I love my Disney, the live actions frequently don't cut it for me. The Alice in Wonderland, 2 of them were, which is disappointing because it's also Tim Burton, who I used to love, and he kind of left his really good work in the 90s for me mostly.
Whereas I love the Alice in Wonderland movies.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those. Any scene with Helena Bonham Carter seems brilliant, but apart from that, no. A lot of these remakes they're churning out, wouldn't say I can't think of any I've loved. I've been like Beauty and the Beast was okay, Lion King was pointless. So it's a bit sort of like, what are they really doing? Where are they really going with this?
Dumbo was good.
Dumbo was great. Wasn't that Tim Burton?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, I think Dumbo was Tim Burton. It had a very
Tim Burton feel to it.
Yeah, I think Dumbo was Tim Burton. But again, they didn't just remake Dumbo, they properly reimagined and changed the story. And this is an origin story for Cruella, so it's not actually anything new or existing or anything like that. But again, the two live action films I love are 101 and 102. So as now a kind of trilogy, these get it right for me. These are the ones. These set the bar for the live action.
Although
Cinderella was like,
yeah, to be fair, well, if I remember correctly, we did also though have an awful lot of fun. Because obviously I've never seen them. Watching 102 though, 102 especially, because I always remember being very impressed with the puppy's grasp of French industrial baking when they're doing all of the stuff with the machinery at the end.
look, they're very clever dogs. They're just very clever dogs.
And clearly bilingual.
Look, they're literally black and white. Why would they not be two languages as well as two colours?
I mean,
it makes sense to me.
I mean, I think for me as well, one of the things that I loved about this, I think it kind of ties back to what you were saying to earlier as well about kind of how Disney's kind of taking some of these like classics, but very much classics of their time, and kind of bringing them forward and updating them a bit. I think there's also a certain amount of updating in terms of the actual storytelling, because for me, this felt very much like what they did with Maleficent.
Didn't like those, either of them.
Whereas I did, but not the point I'm sort of going for here, but just in terms of kind of reimagining Cruella as not this, again, no pun intended, this black and white villain. Because, you know, sort of the Cruella from the animation is literally just a monster. Sort of Maleficent from the animation is a monster. This is actually a much more sort of nuanced look at it, which, yeah, absolutely loved. And they're also leaning into some of the, I think again, being about essentially fashion, they do some nice little nods which you wouldn't necessarily expect to see in like a family Disney movie, of kind of nods to like, you know, alternate lifestyles and you know, not following sort of, you know, gender binaries and all that sort of stuff. You know,
that character's great.
Yeah, not massively groundbreaking in and of itself, but massively groundbreaking for a family Disney movie. And you know, I look forward to seeing lots more of.
Yeah, but also
like
not out of place. You know, I mean, we were young kids in that era of the 70s, and you're talking Ziggy Stardust era.
Yeah.
You had David Bowie doing that kind of stuff. So also, it's not incorrect.
No.
It's not. Oh, the world's gone PC mad and they're crowbarring it in. No. That androgyny was a big part of the glam rock scene.
Yeah.
So, you know, why would it not be a thing? But there was something else I was going to say then. Bugger. Yeah, no, but I think for me there was because Cruella's obviously kind of like an anti-hero in this movie. But there is a moment where you have the penny drop of you suddenly realise how much you're rooting for her to succeed. But for her to succeed, she then becomes the woman who fully intends on skinning 101 Dalmatians. And I had this moment of, as much as I love those movies, we'll come back into an area in a minute, so I'll probably turn that back off. But as much as I love those movies, you love Cruella as a villain in those pieces. So you don't actually want her to win, you just relish her scenes in the same way as you relish Poison Ivy's scenes in a film we do not speak of. Yeah, that's gone completely dark, look at that.
Oh my god, we have disappeared.
Do we have lights coming up? I think we do as we go, the A470.
But that's why I think for me, this is kind of like doing, in a way, what Maleficent set out to do, which was essentially, it's a reimagining, retelling. I don't necessarily think this Cruella is going to be the same Cruella that would show up, you know, in the Disney animation type stuff.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's that whole thing in terms of the fact that, you know, this Cruella basically has an animal sidekick, ends up, which again was I think a massive, because I remember seeing like the trailers for it when it came out. Was it last year now? Thinking about
probably.
it. when,
Well, it would have to be because the cinema hasn't been open since bloody August.
yes, and we were doing the whole, because obviously the trailer has like that bit where she's at the costume party. Obviously, you have that glorious reveal of the sort of the flame turning into the red dress. Sort of thing. Very Hunger Games. I thought.
You see, I don't even remember that being in the trailer. In fact, I don't remember the trailer. This entire film was just a glorious surprise to me.
Whereas, obviously, clearly I do. And that particular scene was there because there was a bit where they actually had a shot of 3 Dalmatians growling at Cruella.
Yeah.
And obviously, from having been completely unaware of what the movie was going to be like, I remember us both having a conversation about that and being massively put off by that because it was just the whole, oh my god, why are they shoehorning Dalmatians into this? She hadn't even had the idea of like Dalmatians and blah 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 blah. The movie basically just shows what a massive misdirection that scene from the trailer actually was. But that to me, and again, I'm finding that I'm kind of skirting. I'm not wanting to spoil too much, so I think these will probably end up being largely spoiler free for some of the major plot points.
So we've given away the biggest one.
Yes, but
so
to be honest, I leaned over to you and kind of worked that out before it was revealed. So,
it's not hard, is it?
Yeah, it's a Sixth Sense level of like spoiler reveal. Let's put it that way.
But bear in mind, apart from me and you, the entire world went when that spoiler was revealed. Not everyone's like us at the beginning went, oh, he's fucking dead then.
Spoiler alert.
And we didn't even know each other then. So I think this is it's the kind of thing any adult who's been to more than 4 films in their life will see early on.
Yeah.
But the kids won't get it until the right moment. And I think
that's good because
which is fine. Yeah.
I actually think I would feel almost sorry for a kid that kind of picks up on that quick. Obviously, it depends on the age, because it makes you think that they've kind of already lost that sort of like sense of
innocence and wonder. Yeah.
You're automatically looking for the twist, and life shouldn't be like that when you're young.
This is true. It's very true.
But for me, I genuinely don't believe that this Cruella will grow up to be the Cruella that we have seen in the animation. I think it is part of that kind of reimagining, and it's
fundamentally for me, it's got to be the same one, or there's no point in the film. I'm not interested in the Cruella who doesn't become that Cruella, because I'm invested in that Cruella.
That's fair.
So it wouldn't work for me at all if I thought it was some sort of redemption story that, actually, kids, she doesn't grow up to be bad anymore. I'd be fuck right off.
I don't think it's a redemption story. I just don't think she's going to grow up, because again, it's part of the attitudes have moved on. Fashion isn't about fur and X and killing stuff anymore. I think Cruella will always still be Cruella, but it's Cruella based on our sensibilities now, not the sensibilities of.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So basically, they are. If you take the character as a timeless piece of art, redeeming her so she no longer does the fur thing, I'm not interested in that. I want a Cruella that's gonna skin puppies. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
I have to have my original. She has to be. I have to believe she's gonna go into the original Cruella. But then again, you know what I'm like with the things I'm close to. I'm very pure about them. I get very pissy if people even vaguely dick about with Peter Pan or Neverland. The only people who sort of changed it and it worked for me was Once Upon a Time. Pretty much the last good thing they did, but that's not the point. I didn't like their Cruella. Mark loves their Cruella, for example. I love the actress playing Cruella, but I just don't like what they did story-wise with it. I was a bit like, So Cruella out in cinemas now, on premium access on Disney Plus. I'm guessing it'll become on Disney Plus for free in about 3 months' time. That seems to be the case these days. But yeah, if you've enjoyed any of the Disney live action stuff that I've thought was a bit below par, then you'll love this. I'm indicating for no reason.